know what I was on when you was fucking with me. And we are here with two of Miami's finest sports fans. And we have Ash and Lou in the house. How are you doing today?
Man, we are wonderful. We're excited for opening day next week. We're hype on this high from the World Baseball Classic. And, March is such a great time early April because baseball is back.
Yeah,
Baseball.
and yeah, baseball's back, and all the sports are going on right now. You got college basketball has their big stage right now. Baseball, as you mentioned, is starting. That's what we're here to talk about. But you got basketball and hockey playoffs starting soon, and the NFL is year round, man, with all these moves happening. So the NFL never sleeps as well. But baseball's here. We can't wait.
We're excited.
Yes, you guys are very tapped in with the Marlins. I do want to talk World Baseball Classic because you guys were there. Have you guys ever been to a more electric atmosphere in terms of a baseball game than what you experienced at the World Baseball Classic this year?
Tony, I'm so glad you said that. So we were at the World Baseball Classic back when it was in Miami in 2022, 23. And it was great. It was extraordinary. We were at the championship game. We saw a few games here and there. This year was different. Electrifying is an understatement. The atmosphere, the roster of these teams, and I'm not just talking a powerhouse like DR. I'm talking a little team like Italy. I'm talking Puerto Rico. I'm talking Venezuela, all of them. The excitement, how they built it up, how new fans fell in love with the game. It was extraordinary. It was, now I've never been to a World Series. I've been to Super Bowls and Stanley Cups. Lou has been to World Series, so we can talk more on that. But I told Lou when we were at the USA versus Dominican Republic semifinal game Sunday night, where USA knocked out DR, I said, Lou, I've never been to a World Series, but this must be what a Game 7 feels like.
Yeah, no, and I'd agree. It's the passion, the energy level. You bring in the instruments into the stadium, into the ballpark, and they're celebrating like I've never seen. So yes, from that standpoint, it's more like a game within a festival going on. To me personally, though, I rather the World Series and a regular baseball game in general because of the grind of baseball. This is a tournament. It's 2.5 weeks long, and it's glorious. It's amazing, but I love the grind of the baseball season and the series where you can see multiple pitchers, multiple starting pitchers, and baseball is just not meant for a one and done knockout game. But it is something to behold, something to see.
I disagree with you, Lou, in the sense I understand 162 game season and it's sexy and it's romantic. You have these players. It is an all-star game all around. You will never see these players on the same stage ever like that. On top of that, they're playing for their country, like DR, like Venezuela, where they grew up playing baseball with milk cartons and learning the game in fields, and they have so much love and appreciation. And then on top of it, you have players like from Team Italy who were not good enough to play for Team USA, but still the opportunity to represent their ancestries. So yes, I can understand 162, the grit and everything, but I just feel like there's so much passion and excitement and so much more that's worth for the World Baseball Classic than 162 games. So different.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges, But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm an old man, so I like the grind of the 162. Like I hate
Really?
the idea of even the thought of cutting games or anything. It's the war of nutrition. Like that is really something about being healthy or just riding the wave long enough to be good when it matters in the World Series.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it was fantastic. Like I said, we were very fortunate as Marlins season ticket holders. We were able to buy the 15 game strip, and that's because there were 15 games played in Miami. Moving
Okay.
forward, we don't know how Miami is going to get those games, if the championship will ever be played there, or how it will be. But just we met people from Japan, Korea. People sat next to us at the DRUSA game. We're from the Bronx. I mean, people traveled and helped our economy down here and everything put aside, politics and this and that, it was just so beautiful just for the love of baseball. So I'm like on a high. Of course, we wanted USA to win. After that, I wanted Italy or maybe DR, but shout out to Venezuela. We love Luis Ariz, obviously former Marlin. You
There you go.
know, Torres is one of my favorite players. Ronald Acuna Jr. He's a little crying baby, but you know what? Happy for them and glad. Anything, anybody but Japan, okay? Let's just say it. Anybody but
All
Japan
right.
or Canada.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my question. were you guys going for Team USA? Because the crowds were definitely, you guys were in the minority, right?
No doubt.
Yes.
Definitely, it was a road game for the U.S. in the two games that they played because look, the population down here in Miami is predominantly Hispanic, and a lot of them, when you travel here as opposed to just being here already. So yeah, and again, their passion is on a whole different level. Again, bringing the instrument out, the dancing, every
Dressing up. You dressed up.
hanging on every pitch. So yeah, no, we were definitely Team USA.
So let me back it up
But
a little
we
bit.
were in the minority. You're right.
So Lou's parents are actually born in Cuba. So Lou's, first or second generation. Was that second generation Cuban? And even so, like he was Team All USA the whole way to the point where on Sunday he dressed up as Macho Man Randy Savage. He had his USA pants and everything. Me, while I love USA, I was very strongly going for DR prior to the semifinals. I'm like, look at this roster, look at this lineup. No one's gonna beat them. So I was like, hey, Manny Machado, J. Rod's one of my favorite players in the league. Sandy Alcantara, the Marlins star ace, like Augustine Ramirez. I was very much DR. And then the question came to me on X, Ash, what's going to happen if DR plays USA? And I'm like, ain't going to happen. And it ended up happening. So for that game, very USA and then USA on. So yes, we were USA. And unfortunately, they couldn't do it. Aaron Judge.
Oh my God. Team USA needs a former MLB coach or a current MLB coach. Well, 30 of them are busy around this time. So it has to be former. Andy Pettit might be good to step into that role. He was already on the staff.
Yes.
Yeah, he was there on Sunday. Even like a Jeter, right? You can see Jeter kind of do it. Albert Pujols, obviously he coached Team DR, and then Dusty Baker, he was with Nicaragua. So you have these great former MLB players who transition great as an MLB coach, but you got to grab them before they want to represent their country.
Yeah, I'm in favor of Dusty Baker. I think
We love him.
somebody like that. Yeah, I think you kind of need a stick. You need somebody to be a little stricter on these stars. I think they kind of, it was a little lackadaisical. They had to be woken up. I think Dusty Baker would have had them ready from the word go.
Even him, like a Ken Griffey Jr., I feel like they would have put a little more fuel underneath them. But you're right, USA kind of went in there very like lackadaisical as opposed to other teams with more of a hype, like Italy and Venezuela, even PR. I mean, just as a hype, as a team, as everything. But I do see the issue with coaching could have kind of fueled them down, right?
Well, I mean, he had him there. I think people take.
He didn't even know that he needed to win that one game. He said
that's where people take the exception with Mark DeRosa and not knowing that they had not qualified yet. That was a little alarming, and a lot of people then, based on how they lost that game to Italy, that maybe he didn't know that they didn't yet qualify. So besides that, I like D-Row. He's a great analyst. He was a good ball player, not a great ball player, but a good ball player. And I like the way he talks. He's honest. Even when he made that mistake, he kind of like said, "Look, I heard something else, but I addressed it quickly."
Yeah.
So I don't mind him. I don't think he's the reason we lost. This is now back-to-back WBCs where he's gotten to the final, and ironically enough, both games he lost 3-2. So you can't ask for much more than that. You get to the final, you lose by one run. If anything, we should hire a new hitting coach that could get more runs across the board.
3 hits, 3 funky hits. Okay.
Aaron Judge looked like a nutcracker. He was just like this the whole time. I'm like, what are you doing? Are we not moving?
It's alarming how Aaron Judge froze up in the moment. And I'm a Yankees fan, so it's real alarming. Basketball players that in their home countries and FIBA and Olympics, it means more. Yeah. They're. And I said this earlier. Eduardo Rodriguez had a 5 ERA last season. And he looked like Mariano Rivera pitching for four innings out there, right? So like it's just something for pride. I love it though. I love it. I like the amount that we get. You don't want to oversaturate it, but I love how we're doing it.
But Tony, they don't make them like the Moose no more. Like relievers these days, like Moose was one and done. Like I just wish you could replicate him, but that Yankee squad under him and Posada catching, they were extraordinary. That was extraordinary.
Posada, who coached Italy, come coach Team USA. Come, somebody help us out, guys.
One of these former Yankees, come on over.
Yeah, right. Let's talk some Marlins real quick. I want to get some Marlins in while I still got you. here actually. But first of all, teal jerseys. Oh my God, they should have never went away from it, if you ask me. But the teal is back. How do you guys feel about bringing back the retro jerseys?
Yeah.
I'm going to take this one
Oh,
first
sorry, 'cause I have
because
so much to say about it.
I grew up as a Marlins fan. Well, I grew up as a Met fan before the Marlins existed. But once the Marlins got awarded, the Miami got awarded a team, and the Florida Marlins were born. I was at the second ever game at the old stadium, the old Pro Player Stadium. So I grew up with that. I grew up with the teal, jerseys and
Yeah.
the teal, the pinstripes. So I am beyond ecstatic the fact that they're back, and I hope they make them permanent. I mean, if they don't, they're missing out. They are the best uniforms in the league. Going back to the World Baseball Classic, they put the wall, the padding, they made it green, which they did at every venue, which is the colors of the World Baseball Classic. And I can't only think about the old teal monster at the old stadium and the
Oh
old
wow.
teal wall. So don't just stop at the uniforms. Bring back teal all the way around. Make that part completely teal. It's an amazing color, and we need it back.
So piggybacking on what Lou said, we were at the State of the Marlins back in February where they made the official announcement. And there's all of the Marlins season ticket holders, but also it's open to the public. And we knew that day they were going to release uniforms. And there's been good uniforms. There's been not so good uniforms. I'm not a big fan of the sugar cane ones. Not for me. So I didn't go into this with high hopes. Towards the end of the event, you start seeing some of the players, like a Sandy Alcantara, like an Augustine Ramirez, who aren't bad on the eyes, go back. And Lou was like, they're going to come out with the new uniforms. I'm like, I better sit
But there was a
tight.
tease. We kind of knew that, it wasn't official till it was official, but we kind of knew there was
So
going to be.
they go behind by like the pitcher nets and stuff, and they disappear. It's kind of like Field of Dreams. They go away, and then they come out like an episode or like a showing of Magic Mike in their new uniforms,
Oh
right?
God.
I'm telling you, it was just like that. So you have these gorgeous, great baseball players in these sexy uniforms. It was like heaven. It was fantastic. So yes, 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 yes. Teal is in. Teal jerseys go on sale next Friday, opening day. Get your teal jerseys.
There we go.
We love them.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. Like I say, they should have never gone away from it. Then bring back the black with the silver too. Just go to the full throwbacks for the Marlins, man. Like I love it.
Yes, 100%.
Even bring them back to the Florida Marlins. I mean, I love the city of Miami, but represent the whole city, whole state, Florida Marlins. Like, let's bring it back.
Yeah.
I'm such an old soul.
Nothing like the throwback jerseys. Nothing like the throwback jerseys.
Nothing.
But off season is obviously over. We're in the spring training now. But how would you guys grade the Marlins off season?
So we were able to retain a lot of our talent. Obviously, still going back to Sandy Alcantara, where back in June and July of last season, his name was like, he's gonna get traded. And I remember it was like the trade deadline, 3 p.m., and he was still there. And I never said so many hallelujahs. This season's going to be a little unique in the sense that we had some players who saw very little playing time last year. One I want to highlight is Griffin Conine. That's Jeff Conine's son. And it's not always that the sons articulate to be great players like their fathers, right? Vladimir Guerrero, Cal Ripken, Ken Griffey, Tatis. I mean, it's not always that the son can become as great as the father. But I do have high hopes for Griffin Conine. He missed all of last season. I don't even think he made it past spring training last year. Or it was close.
He got hurt at the beginning.
It was real early. So with keeping a lot of talent that we've retained the last 2 years, plus bringing some guys that we didn't get to see last year who have high hopes for, I'm excited.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing. We pretty much everybody's back, and we did end up making a trade, getting rid of Edward Cabrera, one of our starting pitchers.
Yeah.
But I thought we picked up a tremendous return on that in getting Owen Casey. Owen Casey from the Cubs, who was projected to be their center fielder and their leadoff batter, and was a top-rated prospect in the organization. So the fact that we gave up one of our pitchers, which we have a plethora of pitchers at the big league level and on the farm, to get a good bat who is experienced. He was just in the World Baseball Classic with Team Canada, as was Sanoja with Venezuela, the winning team.
Marcy with Italy.
Otto Lopez
we've had a
also
big
played.
representation of WBC.
So, you get guys that have been playing in big games, if you will, during spring training, But I love the Owen Casey move. I love the fact that, and this will help Ashley as well, we kept Sandy Alcantara,
Thank Jesus.
at least for now. I don't know how long he'll be here into the season, but at least for now, he's starting the season with a big league club and as a Marlin. So I love it. We also picked up Chris Paddock, who he's had an up and down career, but when he was a sheriff out in San Diego, he was, he had some big punch outs out there. So we'll see what he can do. And I love picking up Pete Fairbanks from the Rays, the closer. He's electric. He's a nice personality. So overall, I think for the Marlins being the Marlins and not the Dodgers with unlimited payroll, I think we did enough to remain a contending team as we were last year.
And Tony, even more, so many of our players, like Lou kind of hinted on, played in the World Baseball Classic. So this was even more than maybe spring training, throwing a ball around and playing, like exhibition games. Like they got great training with some of the best players in the league within the last 3 weeks. Not saying they all saw a lot of time, like Augustine Ramirez, former Yankee, now obviously Marlin. He didn't get to see much playing time because Austin Wells, another Yankee, had a lot of time with DR. I'm telling you, Austin Wells is like the token Dominican. Like, what? He's so cool.
At this point.
Yeah. So it was good to see.
Yeah, I think I've always felt like playing for your country in any sport. In basketball, you see it. In hockey, you see it. Hockey a little different because it's in the middle of the season. Yeah. It gives you just that boost of seeing other great players, even if you didn't play with them, right? You got to see how they practice. You got to see how they work. You got to see little things that you could tweak or take from them and pluck from their game. So all of those players are going to be, I feel like you'll see come opening day, that first 10 games, it's just going to be a different from the players that played in the WBC and the players who didn't. And you guys had quite a few, so it's going to be good for y'all.
Exactly. And there's just, like mentioned before, a lot of talents coming back. Harry Berto Hernandez, right fielder, left fielder, right?
Well, he played both,
actually, more right, I think.
He was playing in left when Stowers was injured. And that's another guy. Stowers
from Orioles.
Came out like gangbusters at the beginning of the year, was hurt and missed the final month and a half. He was pushing. He was on a push to maybe get to 40 home runs.
Yeah.
So really excited to see what he could do in a full 162 game season.
We're really excited.
Yes. What do you think the strength of the Marlins will be this year?
I really think it's going to be young talent. Peter Bendix he obviously comes from Tampa Bay Rays. He knows how to attract and attain talent. I really feel like a lot of our talent is going to be from the farm system this year. For the last few years since we've had Peter Bendix, he's always brought in like these great prospects, and he kind of is like, okay, just give it time, and they've turned out great, or some of them have turned out great. So I think a really big strength is going to be using these younger guys who maybe are not top on people's radar, but he sees something special in them, and I trust what he sees. And also pitching. I think as long as we can be healthy on the mound with Sandy Leiden, Yuri, I think we'll be good. I'm not a big fan of our relievers, closers. I feel like that's a big downfall. If I can kind of give you the opposite, is kind of our 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning pitchers. But I feel like if we can have a strong start with a lot of young talent on the bats, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, and from my aspect, I think it's going to be two things. I think it's three things. Speed. I think we're going to run bases a lot more this year. Jacob Marcy projected to be the leadoff hitter. Yeah. Jacob Marcy had a great debut last year towards the end of the year and did not stop. So really excited to see him in a full year as well. He's fast. You got Xavier Edwards. Xavier Edwards was trying to his goal last year at spring training was to rob 60 bases. Well, that didn't work out too well, but hopefully this year he's able to get closer to that mark. So I think we're going to be a terror on the base path. The pitching is huge. I mean, getting Sandy back, he started off bad last year, but really finished the year like old Sandy, old Cy Young Sandy. So I'm excited for that. Super excited for Yuri Perez to take that next step and develop into the top ace of a ball club. I think he's ready to assume that role. Still got him for 3 more years of club control. So if he can prove to be that guy, maybe he's the next one to get a Sandy-like long-term club-friendly deal. And then, mentioned Chris Paddock, but also Max Meyer, who, is coming back from Tommy John. If he's able to, when he made his major league debut, he had 11 strikeouts in his second start. If he's able to do something like that and get healthy again, that's going to be big. And also Braxton Garrett was a guy that was hurt also with Tommy John. So we're getting two guys that had productive years early on and got hurt, and now we're excited to see what they can do.
But Tony, I also want to add on that is that it's important that we start off strong. Because if you remember, in July of last season, we were the hottest MLB team, like by far. Our record, and we were just deucing people. We swept the Yankees. We swept the Yankees at home.
Yeah, okay.
We did.
All right.
Sorry. But I just feel like if we can have that same mojo and momentum, not just in the heat of summer by the All-Star game, if we can start that early, we can really be a threat in the NL East. We can't just find our mojo halfway through the season. We got to start strong and then continue it. It's a long race. Like Lou said, 162 games. It's not a short season. So don't find it halfway through. Continue the mojo.
Yeah, I think the East is going to be a dogfight, and you guys are in it. I really think so. I think it's 90 games might win the division this year because there's going to be a lot of cannibalizing each other, and you guys are building. And getting somebody from the Rays, if I was the starting team, I would get front office people. I would try and pluck as many front office people from the Rays as possible because they can scout talent because they don't have the budget, right? And they always find a way to get bites at the apple. So it just makes sense to do that. What Rainey saying? Remember that? I don't want to remember the pain of the Yankees last year. Last year, we'll leave that where it was.
Tony, we're actually going to opening day Yankees this year. Yankees open up against the Marlins in April at Yankee Stadium, their first home series. So Lou's never been to the new. Actually, I've never been to New York Stadium either. I've been to the old one hundreds of times. So we're excited to see the Yankees and Marlins play Good Friday for the Yankees opening day opening series at home.
Oh, that's pretty dope. And I got nothing but love for y'all, but I hope y'all leave the game sad. I'm just saying.
And I hope Aaron Judge remembers how he played yesterday and continues that as well. So touche.
Aaron, when it's no pressure, Aaron Judge is elite. And the crazy thing is, pressure always finds him.
Yeah.
It's like they say in baseball. If they're trying to hide you, the ball always finds you on defense. So you better be ready when you're out there. You guys alluded to some of the people, but if you can lock down one, who do you think would be the breakout star this year?
I think it's going to be Griffin Conine. I mentioned before, with the whole father thing, his dad laid him a great path, and he's not in the position he is now because of his father. I want to make it clear, he did earn his right, but I think that year of rehabilitation is going to do him well, and I think he's going to carry on the Conine name excellently.
Yeah, I don't know that Conine is. I think his potential's tapped. I don't think he can take it to the next level. He's projected as a guy who's going to hit anywhere between 10 to 15 home runs. I don't see, breakout with Griffin Conine. I see him being a steady player. They can go out there, play a solid defense. He can play outfield. He's projected actually as first base. But I don't see him standing out. Breakout guy, I want to see what Marcy can do for a whole year. I want to see what Stowers can do in finishing in a year. And a guy that's got a lot of buzz, a guy that's not yet on the big league club but is coming, is Joe Mack, the catcher who was hitting the lights, the cover off the ball in the minors at every level. And so he's a guy that can make his presence felt. And that could be a problem for Agustin Ramirez, former Yankee, who obviously we traded Jazz Chisholm for. Hits the ball a ton, but unfortunately, as a catcher, cannot throw out runners at second base.
Okay, stop that, because you know what? He's practiced so much this offseason. He showed videos. He literally on his IG and everything, that guy has worked his tail off because he realized he was not too good defensively.
But there is a knock on him for a reason, and so he does have limitations on the defensive side of the ball. And so if he can stay in the lineup because of his bat, and that creates a spot for Joe Mack to come up through the minors to the big league. Of course, after his service time, you wait for those first 2 months so you can milk all his 6 years with the Marlins. But I'm looking forward to Joe Mack coming in from the minors.
Okay.
Hey Ash, he's not making videos on Instagram trying to prove himself for no reason. All right.
I know. He's like, and his English is getting better too. So this man is putting all of it there. He's practicing English and he's practicing throwing balls down the pipeline to second. So definitely shout out to, I call him Augie. he's trying, right? He knows his weakness is obviously defensively. He can hit home runs.
He can steal too. He's
Yeah.
he's fast. He can
I
he
just love
definitely
him.
steal some bases. So if the defense is the only problem, he's going to stick around
But
for a
he's
while.
practicing, and practice makes perfect. So give him time.
That's right. That's right, man. Hopefully it works out. It works out. All right, so you look at the lineup, or you just look at the roster. Who are your favorite Marlins to watch play baseball?
I'm going to piggyback with Lou said with Jacob Marcy, just because he was a really standout player. He didn't make Team USA this year because he just maybe wasn't good enough to make that roster, but he did a fantastic job with Team Italy. I feel like this guy has just started. His family is great. Wonderful guy on and off the field. I think that he has just started, and I remember tweeting in July of last year, like, "Oh my Marcy, oh my gosh!" Like, put a name and face respect.
Lord have mercy.
Lord have
That's
mercy.
okay, please.
It's going to be Jacob Marcy. If you don't know the name now, you guys are going to know the name. This guy has just started.
Yep. For me, I pitched not very well, but I pitched in high school, and so I love the pitching aspect of baseball. I love when you get a bona fide horse, which I'm not sure Sandy can revert to that. I still think he's got work to do. He's not that young buck that he was when he first came here. But I love to see what Yuri Perez can do and take that next level.
Yuri's fun.
But there's nothing like in baseball for your team when you have a dominant ace. We just saw it a couple of days ago in the DR USA game, and I'm jealous of the Pittsburgh Pirates because to see Paul Skeens go out there every fifth day and grab that baseball, and you know that if you're the opposing team, you got your work cut out for you. There's nothing like that. When the lights come out, warm-up music, the pitcher's on the mound, and it's lights out. It's the intimidation factor that, for me, that's what sells it. So I'm looking forward to Yuri Perez having a big year.
And Tony, look what Paul Skeens did against these players of DR who dominated Netherlands, who dominated Nicaragua, who dominated Venezuela with the bats. And they even showed before the game, like, half these players like 0 for 6, 0 for 2, 0 for 10 against Paul Skeens, and knocked out, like, they could not hit against Paul Skeens for anything. So I don't know why I brought it to there, but shout out to Paul Skeens.
Because, hey, you got to talk about greatness, got to appreciate greatness, and that's what he is as a pitcher. So I'm with you, Ash. Shout out to Paul Skeens, future Yankee. I'm just saying, future Yankee.
Right. Go ahead, put your talent in the Bronx. All right.
What are your expectations for the Marlins this year?
We're going to shake up the NL East, right? You're always expecting the Phillies. Okay, maybe the Mets might make a cute little run or something. I really think we're going to be a top 2 team. I don't know if we're going to be the number 1 team. We might hold that spot for a few weeks or so. I think we're going to be the top 2 team in the NL East. We're going to win series. We're going to sweep series. We're going to continue where we left off next year. We're going to be above 500. Are we going to see October baseball? I hope. I don't know. If not, maybe we'll break a heart in a wild card game. But we're going to be okay this year.
Yeah, and I'm not as optimistic. Personally, I just got to call it the way I see it. I still think Philadelphia's got too much talent. The Mets lost Pete Alonso, but they picked up Bichette, and so they made some other moves as well, so they'll still be there. The Braves had a really bad year, strange year. The Braves always, bounce back, so I'm a little worried about the Braves. But, the Marlins are coming. That's what I know. And what I want to see is I want to see them compete. Have these young players continue to develop, and then do what you mentioned, what the Rays did. Just stay competitive year in, year after, and that's what I'm looking for. So I don't know that we can challenge for the division, but I definitely think that we can hang around the wild card race into late September and have a shot. Like you said, 90 wins might win the NL East, so 83 wins is going to get you to a wild card spot, and I think the Marlins could shoot for being one of those wild card teams.
Hey, Adrian
read
saying, read
the
positivity.
Person.
Speed, positivity. I don't. Like I say, with the amount of wins that it's going to take, you guys are definitely going to be in the mix. I really think you will. You guys have shown last year that you guys can compete. I think that does roll over into this year. I got a saying, the Mets are going to Met it, so I would never worry about the Mets. But the Phillies and the Braves, the Braves, as long as they have a decent training staff to keep people healthy, they're going to be there, right? The Phillies, they got the money, they built the roster, but You guys got something cooking, similar to how the Rays come around and upset the AL East every now and then, right? Like that can happen. So I wouldn't be surprised.
We're here
I'm not.
for it.
Hey, you are. I don't know if Lou is. Lou like
No, I'm in.
He's not. He's not.
But I also know.
Don't be a fan later.
I just said I think that we're gonna. I don't think we'll win the division. I think that we're gonna have a shot at the wild card. I don't expect it though. I think we're 2 years away from that. But the young talent is there, and you got to maximize. The problem here, Tony, though, is that it's the Marlins, and so if Sandy gets off to a hot start, they're going to look to move him because you got other guys on the farm. Thomas White, Rob Stelling, who are the top 1 and 2 prospects in the organization. You got to make room for them. And Sandy's got 2 years left of his contract, but if you're not planning on re-signing him, you're going to have to probably trade him. And so that's the way the Marlins are. You just mentioned Paul Skeens going to the Yankees eventually. So it's tough for these smaller market teams that don't spend like the Yankees, like the Dodgers, to maintain their club together. And that's why you got to keep on building and have the young guys come up through the minors.
So, Adrian, you can go to the games with me this season with my 4th row aisle seats because Lou's not feeling it, and you can come and enjoy the Marlins game with me.
Be realistic. I didn't say that.
oh man. All right, I got one more question for you. I'll let you guys get out of here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna zoom out and just talk MLB. End of October, early November. Who's in the World Series?
Tone, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a Blue Jays Dodgers series again. I feel like a lot was left on the table. 2 hot teams. It was a great series as it is. We know how the story ended, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see a matchup like that. Of course, I would love to continue on romanticizing about the Marlins. We're not there yet, but 2 teams who were hungry all season. I could see like a rematch like that. I would love to see. I don't want to see the Yankees 2 or the Red Sox. I just feel like there's a lot of disappointment, a lot of ups and downs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, for the National League, it's got to be the Dodgers. I mean,
Yeah.
you have Michael Tucker, and so it's just, the rich get richer, and they don't need any help. I'll start right there. You got Shohei, the best player in the world, despite not being able to win the World Baseball Classic again. He is still the best player in the free world, and he does it with his bat and with his glove. Batting, pitching, he does it all. So the Dodgers are the team to beat. They got the target on their back. It'd be very shocking if they are not in the World Series again. In the American League side, look, the Yankees, I can see making some noise, but I'm going to take Seattle. I think Toronto also could be back, but I think Seattle was right there. They were so close. They got a good young unit. They got good pitching. We'll see how Cal Raleigh,
His bad attitude.
we'll see how Cal Raleigh's display or lack of sportsmanship in the World Baseball Classic plays in the locker room when he makes his way back to spring training. But they got a good core hitting wise, and they got a lot of young arms. So I think Seattle has a chance to maybe get to and win their first World Series.
I could see it.
Yeah, and they paid Bo Naylor, so he's paid. He's happy. Hopefully he didn't play well to get paid. You know how sometimes that goes. But yeah, I'll give you guys my World Series prediction. I was gonna keep it on, but I'll give it to you. You might not like it, but I have. No, not Yankees. Honestly, I have Marlins, Lou, but I have Marlins. I mean, not Marlins. I'm sorry. I have Mariners.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I have Mariners, Braves.
I can see it. No,
I mean,
very doable.
I don't think the Dodgers get 3 peats are hard, and baseball is one of those things where even with a lot of talent, depending on the week, if you have a bad week, you can be out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's very hard to climb that mountain. And 162 games, health is a lot that plays a factor. 3 peats, I don't think they get it. I'm
also,
sorry,
2 great ballparks, T-Mobile Park and Truist. I've been to 19 ballparks. Those are both in my top 10. So that would be 2 beautiful ballparks I gotta add.
Yeah, I know you're not going to want to hear this either, but the Red Sox made some moves, and they could be back making some noise in that division. No,
Goodbye, Tony.
come on back.
Tony left the room.
But no, so the Red Sox might be scary this year. But no, the Braves will definitely be back. That was a one-off year for them. But I'm with you. You know, I think there's a lot of teams out there that could. I wish baseball though would get back to, because look, this new playoff system where it's 3 games, best out of 3 in that wild card round. I hate it. I also hate the fact that you don't get a home game. So if you make the playoffs after 162 games and 30 spring training games, almost 200 games, you should be able to host a damn playoff game in your ballpark.
You don't like the runner on second, an extra inning.
Yeah,
There's a lot you don't like, I know.
Baseball's got to fix that. And, you know, yeah, they got some work to do. But at the end of the day, man, baseball is an amazing sport.
The best.
The grind of it, it's our sport. It's a national pastime for a reason. And, you know, I'm happy to see it keep on growing every year.
Yeah, same. Lou, it sounds like we're going to have like a grumpy old man session about baseball.
Don't smoke your cigars and BS with each other because this is positive vibe Ash and you guys just...
We'd rather have a grumpy old man session about baseball because I can kind of tell we feel the same way. Hey, things should be the way that they were, okay?
I agree.
It's good, and I hate to be that guy. Oh, get off my lawn! But hey,
you are that guy.
It's a great game. You don't have to fix it. It's the only game without a clock, right? If you're down by 40 points in basketball, the clock's going to catch up with you. The baseball, there's no clock. I mean, there's a pitch clock now, but the game is over when you get to 27 out. So you're never out of the game. You know, all the purities of it. It's a great team sport. It was perfect the way it was, and you know, I just don't mess with it. It is great as is.
I agree. All right, I'm gonna let you guys get out of here. Let everybody know where they can find you, where your shows are, where you guys are going to be, because you guys are always traveling for sports. Let them know what's going on.
305 Sports Bay. You can find me on all social medias, everything from TikTok all the way down to Twitter, all that good stuff. We also own 305 Sports Travel, so we do some Dolphin away games. We have a show, the SoFlo Sports Show. We cover all of South Florida sports, the good, the bad, and the craziness. Of course, I say that very seriously because it's been like that the past few weeks. And yeah.
Just looking forward to continuing covering all the stuff that happens, not just in South Florida, but in the world of sports. You know, a lot of couples specifically will watch Love Island or The Masked Singer. We're watching sports 7 days a week.
I watch a lot of stuff
hours.
when you're not here, okay? Well, I watch My Bachelor and Age of Attraction and Love is Blind. Trust me, I get my daily dose of that.
So that's why the channel gets changed to those networks.
Netflix, but no, we enjoy it.
But yeah, for the most part, we love sports. We love talking sports.
You mentioned upcoming trips. Since this is baseball, I'll close with this. We're actually, it's crazy, and I'm going to say it. We're going to 3 opening days this year. Marlins opening, yeah, right? So we're going to Marlins opening day. We don't miss it. Then we're going to the Yankees opening day in New York, and then we're actually going to see that Monday game with the Tampa Bay Rays. They have their opening day on Monday, going back to Tropicana Field. So we're actually seeing 3. I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah. So obviously, opening day in Marlins we never missed out here. Yeah. Ashley has family in New York, so we decided to pay a visit. And then while we're up there, we looked at the schedule. We saw the Yankees were playing the Marlins.
Yeah.
So we could not let that one go. And then when we were looking at flights back, we noticed that it was way cheaper to fly into Tampa and rent a car and drive to Miami.
Yeah.
And when we looked at that schedule, we said, hey, the Rays are playing opening day at Tropicana Field after being a year away from there, playing at the Yankee Spring Training. Yeah, they were playing at Steinbrenner Field for last season because the roof got messed up during the hurricane. So we were like, wow, we could see the return to Tropicana Field by the Rays against the Cubs. A great matchup there. So we said, hey, let's just do it.
So that's what we got going on the next 3 weeks, plus March Madness. And both of our teams are very heavily favored in March Madness, Arizona and St. John's. So if you need us, leave a message. We appreciate us tonight.
St. John's, the very underseeded St. John's, might I say.
Amen, brother. Your lips to God's ears. It's disgusting what the committee did to us.
But hey, you guys, it'll work out. Yeah, it's fine. You got to beat the better teams anyway, right? If you're going to get where you got to go, you got to beat the good teams anyway. So, hey, knock them out early.
We will. Northern Iowa and Kansas, I'm sorry, but we're going to destroy you this weekend.
And they picked the wrong guy also in Ripatino to
And Ashley.
to upset
And
because
Ashley.
that guy will use it into just like Pat Riley.
And Ashley.
You know, those type of coaches will use it as like an advantage to their team. Hey, they don't respect us. We got to show them. So Ripatino is definitely taking it to heart that they send him cross country to San Diego.
The furthest place. I literally had a hotel booked in Tampa. We were supposed to go to Tampa, and I was going to go to Philadelphia, so I just can't go to San Diego.
As a fifth seed, when they really should have been a 3.
My pressure's going up.
So they're definitely going to have a say in the matter for sure. You're right. Who do you like in the tournament? Who do you think's going to win it all?
Well, I'm a Carolina fan, but
okay.
I don't think we're going to win it all. I think Arizona gets it.
Wow! All right, thank you for that. It's been a long time.
They've been the most consistent team to me all year. They played in probably the best conference, the Big 12. You know, talent wise, it just makes sense. And I would never say Duke. Never. I don't care. They can bring back Kyrie Irving, Carlos Boozer, Elton Brand in their prime, and I will never say Duke. So yeah, give me Arizona to win it. They're cutting down the nets.
I appreciate that. I'm a little bit, again, doing what I did with the Marlins, but I'm a little bit skeptical because, look, Arizona, I've watched them all year. Trust me, they don't shoot the three-pointer that well, which is kind of a knock on them. In college basketball, you need to hit the 3 to win. But they were, as you mentioned, the Big 12, for my money, I'm not being biased there, the best conference of college basketball this year. The Big 10, a second. But Big 12 was number 1 in my opinion, so they are battle tested. Yep. They actually got a very favorable draw in the West region, so I think they're going to have a great shot to get to the Final Four. And if they're there, why not win it? So, and we got great coach, by the way, too. Tommy Lloyd is a great coach.
Yeah, but Carolina losing Caleb Wilson, man, that
was huge.
That was it right there. We're a totally different team, so. But talk about like old school feel. That's the one thing that has taken me away from college basketball a little bit is the transferring to one and dones. Is like I used, like even back when Vince Carter stayed 2 years, right? Like he's like even the good players stayed 2 years. Like the way that they come and go, it kind of disconnects me from the program and like watching the individual teams, I should say.
It used to be 3 years, and so I don't want to start a war here, but when anybody says, oh, LeBron James over MJ, look, man, MJ came out as a junior, and while he was in college, he won a championship on the last shot. That wasn't a thing back then. You had to play 3 years. Now this thing where, people are hopping the portal and going to play like for 5 different schools in 7 years. It's ridiculous. It's free agency. It's not the genuineness of college basketball the way we once view it, and it's affecting the game. And I hope that it gets fixed soon enough.
Yeah. How do they fix it? I don't even know at this point because it just seems like it's getting wilder and wilder. But somebody got to get involved. I mean, honestly, they just got to start treating it like what it is, like a business. Like they're making all these business moves and not calling it that. It's like being with a girl every day and saying that's not my girlfriend. It's like, all right, guys. Like, you're doing all the things that relationships do. It's like, well, we're not going to call it that. At some point, just call it a business, get a commissioner, get a collective bargaining agreement, and make some sense of it. Like that's really what it's boiled down to now. Like, all right, guys, I'm not mad at players getting paid. NIL is way different than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was more like probably off merchandise, jersey sales. I didn't know it was going to be more endorsement based, but I'm not even mad at that. They just got to figure out a system because there's no rhyme or reason for it right now.
I agree. And it should be a minimal 2 years. I mean, it used to be the old style way was if your coach left, you made an exception, which I'm fine with that. Everything's off if your coach leaves, but man, make it at least 2 years. And then also for these small schools that find these gems or these players that nobody wanted and all of a sudden they become stars, if a bigger school like a Carolina or a Kansas or Arizona were to poach these kids, that school should get paid. You might have to do like a buyout or something because they got to replenish their funds that they may not be able to do that for 20 years. Find another guy like that. So they need to fix the system, and specifically with college basketball, March Madness. It's all about the Cinderella. It's all about the underdog, and that's going to go away if you have these one and done. Not to go to the NBA, but to go and jump to another school.
A bigger school, yeah, yeah. And I actually talked about that a couple weeks ago on the show, and it doesn't even have to be a lot of money to be helpful for these small schools, right? Like think
Yes.
about if you go like these D2 schools, if you give them 200 grand,
Oh,
like that does so much for those schools, right? And that's a drop in the bucket, especially if you're talking like football and when it comes to that in college sports. You know, if you think about a school like let's say FAMU, like a player goes to Miami from FAMU and you give them $200,000-300,000. Man, they got all new equipment, weight room stuff. It changes a lot for schools like that, you know. So I definitely feel like that's the minimum that they should do, right? Like look out for the little guy. They did the hard work. You know,
yes.
they put the pressure on the coal and made the diamond. Right now, you guys are picking those diamonds out. You gotta pay. You gotta pay the freight, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Charles Barkley actually had a really good point in it last night during the first four matchups in college basketball. He was talking to Dick Vitale, and he mentioned that the boosters or the NIL guys or the school itself who's making these investments, they're not really getting that big of a return because in college basketball, you do have the one and done. In the end, in football, you got to stay 3 years. You can't come out as a sophomore. I think the earliest you can come out as a junior.
Yeah.
So, to get your money's worth out of these players, these one and done college players in basketball, it's really the turnaround is just too much. They got to have some kind of rules in place that protect. Yes, definitely, for the player, but for the school and for the greater good of the game as well. So we've come a long way down here in Miami. The great University of Miami football teams. They always laughed how you would go to the bookstore and you see the Ray Lewis jersey, the 5'2", you wouldn't put the name in the back because obviously it wasn't fair for him. But he was like, man, they're selling my likeness, my all that, everything, and I'm not getting anything for it. So I get the player's perspective, no doubt, but we got to meet in the middle where, it's not what it is right now. It's the Wild West.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what, like I said, I thought that's what the NIL was going to be for the
Right.
jersey sales, the merchandise. Man, they got Lamborghini deals, man. It's crazy out here, man. But I get it. If you were going to school for cybersecurity and you wanted to sell computers, you can sell as many computers as you want. So I'm not mad at anybody getting their money. It's just figure out how to wrangle it, you guys. All right,
Right.
for the fans, okay,
Yeah.
for the fans. That's what it's about. Think about us, the fans, because at the end of the day, we are the reason why all this money is flowing in the first place. Without the
Yeah.
fans, without the interest, none of this matters. None of
Nothing.
this
And,
matters.
you're going to see it for these schools and why it means so much, especially these smaller schools that, if any team that upsets here in the next 2 days, you go on Google and their school is trending, as the most, everybody's trying to find out where that school's located or, who the top player, what's their nickname. Some of these schools, you have no information. All of a sudden, they're put on the map and everybody knows about it. So stars will be born here in these next couple days, and they're missing, they're taking away that moment if you don't allow it to happen naturally, and so they got to enforce the rules so we can get back to the way it once was.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna end with this. It's funny now when you watch college sports, and remember they used to say such and such player, and they'll say from what city they're from, and now they say such and such player, and they list the last school they were at.
Yeah, that's wrong.
It's
That's wrong.
it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Hopefully they figure it out. I think they will. Enough people are upset about it where I would have thought it'd been fixed earlier, but it just takes one person to really put their foot down, I guess, man. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you, Lou, for being on. I appreciate you. You guys are busy. I know y'all got a lot going on, so I really, really, truly appreciate you guys for coming on. And I tell for the people on Twitter, Make sure y'all go over to the YouTube. It's Tony Talking Game. Hit that like, subscribe, Twitch, same. And like everybody who do content, share, comment, send this to somebody who likes sports because I'm sure they'll like this. This has been Talking Game. Peace.